Well, hello folks, welcome to episode 1 of our 21st season here at RFC Liege. I'm the Custard Prophet and this is Above Standard. Now, after last season we lost our top scorer, Anthony Oudah, halfway through the season, but we were kept going into a very respectable end of the season with this guy, Philippe Otto. But you can see he has also left the club and also he's gone to China. How are we going to cope missing our two best players from last season? Well, as you can see, it doesn't really matter. We have coped incredibly well. We're sitting in third in the league after 12 games. Unbelievable start to the season. We've made some great signings. We'll go through those, and we're going to be playing Mechelen in the league today. We've got an A-star rating from the club. We've actually still got a reasonable balance, £10 million in the bank, which is pretty nice. So that's good. But yeah, let's see how this has happened. Because if you'd have asked me what's going to happen this season after we lost pretty much all of our decent players last season, Kramer, who I didn't mention, Oudah and Otto at the start of this year, I would have struggled to know where the goals are going to come from. But let's have a look. In terms of released players, finally, Wapatale has left. He's not gone anywhere. He's 33 years old. I mean, he's a good player for a lower division side, but there is just his physical attributes have dropped off a cliff. I can't remember if they're any good at any point, but you can't cope with that. You can't use that sort of player in this level of football. It's just not going to work. So he's gone, and Frank Arnold also left. I forget if we signed him. He was a youngster. It doesn't look too bad, but it's hard to keep all these youngsters happy. Looking at other players out, as you see, Philippe Otto has left for £8.25 million, almost rising to almost £10 million. I think it's not the worst decision. He's 31 years old. He's getting on a little bit. He'll be 32 actually very, very shortly. So it kind of made sense to get the money while we still could. Bunch of players who've kind of gone out on loan. Enzo Martin is the one player who hasn't. He has moved to Beerschot, and I hope he does well there. I think he's a decent player, but he was getting frustrated with a lack of game time. Players in though, let's have a look through this. Only 4 players in, but what a 4 they are. I'm not going to start with the top one. We'll start with this guy because he's probably been the least effective. Ivan Karabatic, all the way from Croatia. I think this guy could be an absolute worldie of a signing. He's had a slow start so far, but look at the ability he has. He's going to grow into something quite spectacular. He's going to get a lot more game time as we go on, and it probably means that we don't need to keep all of our loan signings in the centre back. That is very true, really, because we've also signed in this lad from Genk, Özkan Kalaskikan, a Danish player. He sounds quite Turkish if you ask me, but I think he's an absolute steal, this guy. We've paid about £300,000 for him, and yeah, he has been awesome. You can see he's played pretty much every game, and I've been really, really happy with this signing. His mental, physical and technical attributes are exactly what we would want for a player in his position. So yeah, very, very pleased with that. Probably the one that hasn't quite worked out, but not really. It's kind of really hit or miss. Is this player? I wanted a left-sided midfielder, and this is what I came up with. He's fast. He's really good at dribbling, but he often has really bad games. So I think he's certainly got an ability. He's scored some goals. He's done all right in many a game. He's on loan from Metz, but yeah, he's had some crappy games as well, some really bad games where he's just done nothing. So if anything, it's Bailey's been playing on the left side recently, and he's doing a really good job there, our Gibraltarian player. But the star the star of everything has been this man, Ken Becks. Doesn't look like a world beater. He's got physical stats to die for, but other than that, he's good. He's very good. But there are weaknesses to his game. There are definitely weaknesses. A 7 concentration isn't necessarily what you'd want for a striker, but irrespective of that, he scored 12 goals in the last 12 games, and some of the goals have been just beautiful. Let me know what you think of this guy. He's got a fairly determined personality. In terms of player traits, runs with ball through the centre, which is nice. Comes deep to get ball, which is interesting because actually he spends more of his time kind of running through. Looks for the pass rather than attempting to score. That seems a lie as well because he seems to always be doing the opposite. And then knocks the ball past opponent, runs with ball often. That's kind of what you'd want with a player with that speed. So it all kind of fits with him, and he's valued at almost £13 million. So we've lost a superstar, we've gained a 23-year-old Belgian superstar. What can I say? I think he's infinitely better than Oudah is. In terms of the results, it has been brilliant. We started out the season with a 2-0 away win against Anderlecht. Becks played outstandingly well, and to be fair, Anderlecht probably deserved something out of the game, but we scored a couple late on, both from Ken Becks, and that was pleasing. And then we smashed Kortrijk 4-0. And this is where I thought, well, this new signing, he looks good. Becks got a couple, but Kramer and Oudah got a couple as well. Had a really, really strong game, and it looks very, very exciting. And then we came down a little bit in a away draw against Cercle Bruges, who have been struggling. Again, Becks getting the goal. Home win against Union SG. Becks, Julian and Oudah getting on the score sheet. He's done well. We've signed him up again, and he's done really, really well. Then a really, really solid victory away against Genk, 3-2. Becks with a couple and Rico Bailey with the other one. Home against Standard. I was going to come back for this one, but then I thought, no, let's move on a little bit further. We took the lead, but they came back into it, and actually it was quite an even game in the end, so it was probably a deserved result. We then rotated a little bit and playing Mouscron, and we almost paid for rotating it. We weren't particularly in this game at all in normal time. Played much better when we brought the better players on, but injury to Linertz, but Becks, Bolan and Oudah with the goals finally to beat them 3-2, and they're in the division below, so we should have done better there. The only loss we've had this season, and this was, I can't remember how long we've gone, but it's a long time since our last loss, was a 3-0 loss against Liege. It was one of those games where it was an even game, but they took their chances and we didn't take ours. So I wasn't too disappointed with the performance. It was just the result was a bit crappy. I gave them a bit of a shout, and they came out and put it right against Club Bruges. A 7-1 win over Club Bruges. Oudah, Meunier with a couple. Gravelon Oudah with got another one, and Ken Becks with 2. And Julian cannot believe we can beat Club Bruges 7-1, and follow that up with a 1-1 draw away against Ghent with Oudah with a penalty. In the last month, we've had easier run of games, but we have looked a little bit more fallible, if that's the right word, against poorer sides. So here we played RWDM at home, Williams, Bailey with a couple of Becks, but they did take the lead, and we had to wait until the second half to score those goals. So I was a little worried there. It's OHL. We did well in this game. We were 3-0 up. Kana, Oudah and Bailey looked very, very good. And then side who've just been promoted, who've got some solid wins actually under their belt. We were 2-0 down, amazingly, and looking a little bit of trouble here. I love the logo actually, but we came back 4-2. Robert, Meunier, Kana and Oudah in a blistering sort of middle period of the match. So we're coming in here, we're on an absolute corking run of games. We're sitting third, just 2 points shy of Standard and Genk, and we are in the best possible position at the minute to kind of challenge Standard. It's not going to last. I know it's not going to last, but it's just amazing to be in this position, because it's not what I expected at all, not one bit. So we did ask to buy a new stadium, because there was no option to expand the stadium. I think that was right. I think they said no to that. I think we've got no pending board requests. I don't think we've got the option at the minute. Well, maybe that was the other save. I think we've still got room to expand in the current one, and we are filling the stadium out. So we could improve the training facilities or the youth facilities. We could improve the youth recruitment. I mean, we don't really need to, because we're getting such good players through. So what would you look to improve next up there? Let me know. Right then, folks, let's go and play Mechelen. This is going to be a tough one, I think. They're 14th in the league, but they could easily cause us a bit of a scare. But I kind of want to show Ken Bex in his imperious prime. He's tailed off a little bit, but some of the goals, he scored one goal, which was one of the best goals I've seen in FM. It was so far outside the post when he hit it, and it just bent in. It was at the minute he hit it, I was laughing because I thought it was such a bad shot, and then it looped in. Oh, it was a thing of beauty. The people who watch that will be telling their not their grandparents, their grandchildren about it. In 40 years' time. So I was there when Ken Beck scored that goal. Oh, right, let's move forward for the game. So here we are. We are going to be probably just making that alteration there. So we're going to be playing Bex and Oudah as our front two. Bailey's going to play on the left side with Julian on the right, both as inside forwards. We've got Mounier and Willems in the centre, midfield and backline. And this is the one thing that we have had is Van Hoot has got himself injured, so we're finding a little bit of a tricky thing to fill in that left back spot. But Praveen is coming in for that. Tobias Kraus has played in there a bit as well. On the right side we've got Bolan, and then Kana and Kaliskan in the centre, with Metzger as that sweeper keeper role on attack in goal. And that seems to be quite an effective role, so we are keeping him playing like that. And certainly I think when we changed that last season, it did make a difference. Hopefully we can carry on this run of form, but I have switched on off and on the game, so you know what that means, don't you? You know what that means. I old lady plays, I know it's not a real thing, but it feels it sometimes. We're going to prove it's not right here, right now. Right then, so here we go. We're looking to get 4 wins on the trot in May. No, we're not May. September. We'll go with that. September, October, possibly. I think we are. It's going to be one of the harder games, but we have the ability to do this. I've just noticed Standard are losing in their games. We've got a highlight here. Julian on the right. Praveen. He's playing on the right. What are you doing there, mate? Bolan. Praveen, ball in. And Ken Bex, under pressure, just heads it over. Good early start. But yeah, Standard are 2-1 down against Genk. So that's a big result, potentially. Julian chips it in. Oh, I thought that was just going to fall into the bottom corner. Custodio does very well. But a good back line at the minute. Julian, who's well challenged, but Bolan on this right side. Oudah then puts it over. We have a few chances already, and all of them just put over the bar. But is it a chance for them? Zian? We have cleared it, but I thought if the front man had been a little more on it, we might have done that. And my God, how often does this happen? The first shot they've had, and it's into the back of the net. We've had 3 chances, not seen a goal. They've had 1, and they've scored it. Oh, it'll be disappointing if we give up 3 points here, especially if Standard are losing. Oh, Julien. Ball in. Oh, Canna's hit it over now. What is it with them? How many are they going to put over? All right, Praveen. At least we're creating good chances. That's important. Mounier back to Praveen. He's probably the weak link in this team, and he's proven it there. He's lost the ball. Pinault, who's been a thorn in our side for about a million years. Well, that's a weak shot, and that was purely because of the pressure of the defenders there. They just stopped him doing anything useful. And we've reached half time. We're 1-0 down. You got to say it so that we're going to feel a little bit aggrieved to be 1-0 down there. We've played well, created some good chances, and not scored the goals. So hopefully the second half will bring something new, bring something a little bit better. We've got players to come on if it looks like that's not going to be the case. Marchand does get the ball, but it's a Julien who comes away with it. There's a terrible head from, or a terrible bit of play from them, and it's put it back to their goalkeeper. He's forced to play it long. Are they going to get to that? They do. That's well done. Defender completely lost. That's the left back again. And we've pulled it away here now. Bailey, Mounier. And he's played it into Bex. And Bex is using his pace and lost it. It's going both ways, isn't it? And again, oh, dear me, that was a good chance. And it's 1-0 still. It's going both ends. Left, right. But probably they should have scored there, shouldn't they? Well, 58 minutes on the clock. I think we are going to make a change, and it's going to be Rico Bailey who's coming off. He's had a pretty poor game. So we're going to see whether the Frenchman is going to have one of his good games, maybe. We're taking Praveen off for Kraus, because we know what Kraus can offer down the left side, and hopefully that's going to be a little more secure. It's been disappointing, Praveen has. We're going to attack him as well, but I'm not sure it will make any difference. We might go slightly more overlappy, if that's a thing. Right, so we are going to put the two fullbacks on attack. What have we got on the bench? We've got the likes of Jacques Watt, who could come on for a tiring Willems, maybe. Offers a little bit of something different. Can he play a lot of experience? Yeah, and not a jot more happened, and we have lost this game, disappointingly. We've better XG. They completely stopped. Is that us? I'm a bit confused. No, that must be them. So we completely stopped playing in the second half. Well, that's interesting. I didn't realise we created that many chances, but in that first period. But yeah, completely stopped creating in the second half as we made changes and tried to go more attacking. It didn't work. They had a very, very good chance which they missed. That was that one, I guess, that just went past the post. And yeah. No, this must be us, mustn't it? We must. How? No, that can't make any sense, because the XG there, it says we're ahead of them, but then the XG here says we're not. So something's gone wrong. Well, that's not the one I wanted to show you. Considering how well things have gone, that's only our first loss, our second loss of the entire season, and against a fairly weak side as well. But yeah, these things happen, and Standard did lose as well, so that's good. And remember, all we're trying to do is go above Standard in this save. That's what we're after. We'll have a little look. We'll come back for. We haven't got that long to go, but we'll probably come back for a game in this region here. Probably a home game, because we've just done an away game. So maybe the game against Genk, perhaps. That's a good distance away. or the game against Liege, possibly. Both going to be challenging. But yeah, fingers crossed we can keep things going and this doesn't start a bit of a slide. Yeah, a bit of a disappointment there. Anyway, folks, hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you for the next one. Goodbye.